When you think of manual gears, you'd probably assume that there is nothing more to it than shifting up and down 8 different gears, and that's about all you need to know. However, there is so much more to this assist that it will require a similar amount of time and dedication to master. But is it worth switching? Well, not only will it take your gaming experience up a gear, but it will also gain you heaps of time on your rivals, helping you to take that checkered flag first. Not sure where to begin? Well, here at Veloce, we are going to show you 5 easy tips on F1 2020 that will have you shifting from an automatic noob to a manual gear professional. Before we get into today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never have to miss out on another F1 2020 tips video. Tip 1. Basics. So you want to take that leap of faith into the world of gear shifting, but before you can get out on track, let's get comfortable with our equipment. Firstly, for your wheel users out there, located behind the actual rim of each sim racing wheel, you will find paddle shifters. The paddle on your right is how you're going to shift up a gear, and the one on the left is to shift down. Simple, right? Having a strong and suitable steering wheel helps with making you as comfortable as possible, as it allows you to change gear whilst turning at any angle. But a strong and sturdy seat is just as important. Thanks to our partners at Playseat, they have lots of gaming seats available that will have you seated in the best position to stay comfortable whilst conquering those tracks. Now to the pad users. For you guys and girls, shifting up and down is controlled by 2 separate buttons, usually A and X on Xbox and Square and X on PlayStation. If you don't find these 2 buttons comfortable to use, you can always switch them to any other button of your choosing. It's important to be as comfortable as possible when it comes to changing gears, as you could be doing this hundreds of times per race. Tip 2. How are manual gears better than automatic? Thanks to the F1 game by Codemasters, if you don't want to change gear manually, you don't have to. The game can change gear for you, which will give you one less thing to worry about. But why should you run manual gears over automatic? Firstly, using manual gears gives you a better feel of what it's like to drive a Formula 1 car. Now, before you start coming for us like an angry mob, we are not saying that F1 2020 is a simulation game. Despite it being an arcade game open for anyone to pick up and play, you can still get a more immersive experience when using manual gears. Now, to the important reason, and the one that will probably make you switch, is that you will become ultimately faster using manual gears. You may be thinking, that doesn't make sense. Surely the game and computer knows which is the best gear to be in at that certain point. And yes, whilst that is correct, it does pick the best gear, but it may not pick the fastest gear. This is because the computer will pick the safest gear through corners to stop the car from spinning out of control, or to reduce the wear on the engine and gearbox as much as possible. But when you are on a qualifying lap, you don't want to have the safest, most stable car out there. You want to be throwing the damn thing around every single corner, getting the best out of it to try and clinch pole position. So how exactly do we use manual gears to gain more time out on track? Well, I am glad that you have asked it, because heading over to our next tip, we're going to find out some techniques how to do that. Tip 3. Short shifting. Switching to manual gears is a whole new ball game. Not only do you have to remember to change gear when accelerating and braking, but you also have to remember the simple techniques to help you find time on track and keep the car on the track. The first of these is short shifting. Now, if you are a regular viewer of Esports 101 series, then you will know that we have gone over this in a previous video on traction control. However, in case you haven't seen it, let me recap. Short shifting is as simple as going up a gear early than the ideal point, and is mainly used to stop the car from spinning its rear wheels and avoiding a trip to the barrier. The key with short shifting is to use it up to 4th gear in the dry and anywhere up to 6th in the wet. Using it after these gears will just cause you to lose momentum and become a sitting duck for other drivers. But using this technique correctly will keep your car stable out of corners and allow you to pull away from your rival in a heated battle from the previous turn, especially when on alternate parts of the racing track. Tip 4. Engine braking. Manual gears is not just about acceleration and power, but every now and again you will have to change down some gears when braking for a corner. So how do we optimize this and get the maximum out of our car. Engine braking is the process of changing down gears so quickly that the engine actually helps to slow down the car. This means that you can brake later than you would do with automatic gears. This is best optimized in high braking zones like the hairpin in China or turn 1 at Italy. This may take a bit of practice and quite a lot of balls to perfect, because you are essentially going past what you think is possible to slow the car down before the corner. However, if you do perfect this, not only will you set better lap times, but you will also surprise your opponents with some seriously impressive overtakes. The tip comes with a fair warning though. Use this technique too much and you will find your car increasing in engine and gearbox wear, which may not be a problem for online players, but lovers of career mode will need to manage this and use this technique strategically. Tip 5. Remember the gear. The biggest struggle everyone has when it comes to learning to use manual gears is remembering which gear to be in for which corner. Too low a gear and you'll run the risk of losing the back end when coming out of a corner, but too high a gear and you'll get more understeer, losing you valuable time. So how do you remember which gear for every corner on every track? And no, the answer isn't a load of notes next to my rig with each track map. No, it's simple, but will take time and practice to get used to it. But the answer is just memory. Training your own brain through repetition is the best way to overcome this. And whilst it may take time and a lot of frustrating attempts to get the hang of remembering so much, soon enough the cogs will start turning on their own and you won't even need to think about it. And that's it. There are our 5 top tips for driving with manual gears and another episode of Esports 101 partnered with Playseat. Make sure you are subscribed to the Veloce Esports YouTube channel. But other than that, I've been Haydon from Veloce, and we'll see you next time.